The Razer Wolverine Ultimate Controller is a direct competitor to Xbox Elite Wireless Controller, which we have here as well. There are a few differences though, and we'll talk about those right now. First of all, this is a wired controller. It uses a micro USB braided cable that's included in the box. It's very long, so it should be able to stretch across your living room. Now, a lot of hardcore gamers preferred a wired connection because of no latency issues, and presumably that's here as well. You also get chroma lighting. What would a Razer product be without some lights? And these are fully configurable. You can do everything from breathing to static to reactive. You could turn them off. You can even control their brightness, all done through the Razer Synapse software, which is also now available on the Xbox One, and that'll be important for later on when we discuss some of the buttons. Coming to the bottom here, you do get a volume controller, mute mic option. You can also store up to 2 profiles on this device, and you can toggle those here as well. You do also have a quick map button that will access the settings. On the bottom here, you have a 3.5mm headset jack, which is really nice. Now, this whole system right here is usually an optional accessory for the Xbox One Elite controller, so it's nice to have that here, and the buttons work very nice. They have a nice click feel to them. When it comes to the controller itself, all these pull off just like the Elite controller, and in the box and the special case, you do get a taller thumb controller, a rounded dome, and different options. Same thing with the D-pad. It comes off, it's magnetic. You can switch between the different D-pad stylings. Other than that, you get your typical X, Y, B buttons on the front. They're pretty good. They have a very different feel from the Xbox Wireless Elite controller. They're a little bit more shallow, a little bit more springy. Some people will like that, others will not. It's going to be a personal preference, but I can tell you it is something you will notice when you play. Coming around to the front of the device and the bottom, you do get a plethora of buttons here. In fact, you get 10 configurable trigger options. You get your normal bumpers over here and your triggers. Now, the trigger buttons are configurable just like the Elite controller with these little slides here. So you can get shallow travel or you can get deep travel depending on the type of game you're playing. If you're doing a first-person shooter, a lot of people prefer to shallow travel for quick access. There are also these 2 new buttons which are configurable as well through the control panel, and you can assign whatever task you want to them. Coming around to the back here, instead of horizontal paddles, you have these triggers which are configurable in the settings as well. Now, these do not come off unlike the Xbox Elite controller, which is good and bad. Some people may want to remove them and you can't, obviously. On the other hand, they don't interfere. So when you're just playing normally, you really don't feel these paddles as much as, say, the Xbox Elite where you'd want to take them off. Moreover, the Xbox Elite, you can easily lose them. I have in the past. So these will always stick with you, which is a nice option. As usual, the build quality with the Wolverine Ultimate is very good. You do get rubber grip here on the back. That feels nice. There's no creaking with it, and it's a solid controller. The weight is a little bit lighter than the Elite controller, so it doesn't feel quite as heavy, but I don't have any issues with that either. Speaking of those trigger buttons, Razer has included some really unique functionality, including Focus and Agile, which can be mapped to those rear triggers. Focus will give you enhanced precision for improved scoping, while Agile will improve the responsiveness of the thumbstick for quick movements. Now, you can configure those for any of the buttons you wish, or just turn them off altogether, but it's one of the unique characteristics of this controller. All right, let's bring it all in. I like the Razer Wolverine Ultimate Controller, but at $160, that's a lot of money. In fact, that's $10 more than the Xbox Elite controller, and that's not insignificant for a lot of people. Let's talk about its pros. I like the braided cable. It works very well. I had no problem in my living room using it. The chroma lighting, well, it doesn't do anything, but it certainly looks cool. Now, you do get 2 extra buttons here, and that's pretty neat. You can configure that in the options, and I like all the choices that you have, including storing profiles on the device itself. Agile and Focus will take some time to get used to, but if you're a hardcore gamer, it may be worth your time. Now, in terms of preferences between the Elite controller and the Wolverine, I don't really feel strongly either way. I use both of them. And those A, B, X, Y buttons are different, so you're going to have shorter travel on those. And like I said, some people will like that, others won't. Other than that, though, the triggers feel really nice to me, and the grip of the device feels great as well. Now, I had no real deal breakers with this controller either. Everything worked as expected, and I really enjoyed the experience. Choosing between this and the Elite controller will be a tough choice, but obviously the Wolverine gives you a few extra options, and it may be worth that extra $10, which is already a price a lot of people are balking at. Did I want to say balking? I hate that word. $10 more than the Xbox Elite controller, and that's already not, oh, come on, Dan. We can do this. All right.